All right. Here we are. Morning, I'm Black Dragon, and welcome to another edition of Black Dragon Biker News Network. Biker News you can trust. For those of you just now tuning in, we cover biker news Monday through Friday, 10-ish in the morning, Eastern time. Hey, listen, man, listen. Like, share, subscribe, all of those things. We would absolutely appreciate it. Couple stories today in the news. And kind of interesting stories because they tend to go to show the way that things are kind of taken in the community. And it all goes towards the biker image, if you will, and how important it is for us to guard that image. And how important it is, last night we did on our show last night, we did the roundtable where we had our guest on, co-host OG Weasel. And we talked about if the biker club community should fail, if the biker motorcycle club in America should fail and go the way of what's happening to clubs out in Australia, for instance, what would be, we asked, what would be the causes? Why would some of the biker clubs, what would it be that we would do as a nationwide or as a global U.S. kind of force? What is it that we would be doing wrong that would make that happen? And one of the things we talked about is reputations, and how our reputations are managed. So we have a lot of things that are happening to destroy, to continue to further erode our reputations. And we have to really look out for that. If one man can make a difference, if one woman can make a difference, one biker can make a difference, and we have to look at how we can start making our differences out in the world. Terry, thank you for that wonderful donation. Terry 634, appreciate that. So in today's story, we are looking at something that happened a year ago. Well, October 2021. So is that not quite a year ago, but still having repercussions on the biker set to this day, and as well as on the clubs that were involved. So I guess you could start, a joke could be something like, well, what happens when you have the Huns MC, the Pagans MC, the Sons of Odin MC, and the Hells Angels MC all together in one bar room? And then the answer might be, oh, well, you got a good old fashioned biker brawl, which is what happened. And in the old days, I mean, this is how we did it. Some of the boys get together and hey, somebody pokes a chest out, somebody gets to thumping, and the thumping is on and the beat down is on. Only problem is nowadays, there's a camera on every corner. There's a video camera. I think if biker clubs want to do that now, they should just call each other up and have a meeting somewhere at the OK Corral, or maybe around the corner at the Alamo or something, away from cameras, in a good old field. Like when I was a kid, we used to have our gang fights at the Board of Education parking lot in good old Oklahoma City. little small neighborhood gangs that we belonged to. And we'd go to the Board of Education parking lot because it was a huge grinder. If you're in the military, a grinder is like a big, huge field that you can march on. And at this big, huge field parking lot, it's not big now. When I go look at it now, it's really quite small. But when I was young, it was like the biggest parking lot around, and you could see from every direction. So there was only a couple directions the cops could come from, and by the time they got to the middle of the parking lot where everybody would be fighting, you disperse in 100 different directions, and no one could get anyone. But we would have a place we would go meet to throw down. And very seldom back then, nobody ever really had any guns. This was really before, the whole gun thing came into play. We had nunchucks, chains, knives, bats, brass knuckles, pipes, bludgeoning instruments. We'd go to the parking lot and throw down. Somebody might get cut. You might need some stitches. Nobody ever died. It was how it was done. We should go back to that. I read a thing today that said, in the old days, everybody had horses and only rich people had cars. And now today, everybody's got cars and only rich people have horses. The stables have changed. Perhaps we should change the stables. Anyway, in this story, 8 arrests made in a biker brawl in Pima County. And I hope I'm saying these words right. I don't know where the hell Pima County is. I think it's in Arizona. And it took a year to make, almost a year, October. It took almost a year to make these final 2 arrests, which goes to show you that law enforcement was very serious about this. The 8th and final arrests have been made in a case involving a violent fight between motorcycle gangs. Of course, the gang word they're going to use. This is News 4 Tucson. And it's important that you listen to this because everybody's using those words. The sheriff's using those words. The person that spoke for the sheriff's department is using those words. And the words are in all of the articles. A lot of you guys get mad at me. I'm not the one using those words. Those words are the words that are being bantered about. And what makes those words important is that those are the words that they put in the legal language when they are arresting us and arresting bikers and using this kind of language to make the cases stronger. So it was 2 weeks ago when the Pima County Sheriff's Department served multiple search and arrest warrants. So they've been investigating this for quite some time. The warrants were served in Pima and Yavapai County. Hope I said that right. The 8th person arrested was 41-year-old Robert Crane. U.S. Marshals arrested him in Yavapai County. According to the PCSD, I guess that's Pima County Sheriff's Department, there was a brawl between rival motorcycle gangs. And he says, generally, members of motorcycle gangs are considered to be violent. Pima County Sheriff's Department Sergeant Brett Bernstein said. I'm going to let you guys hear this report. It's kind of interesting. Hopefully they don't get me with a commercial here, but I'm going to let you guys hear this report and hear how these folks characterize this. So stand by. Let's go ahead and play that segment.
Buddy, and thanks for joining us. I'm Sean Mooney.
And I'm Priscilla Casper. New at 5, the 8th and final arrest has been made in the case involving a violent fight between motorcycle gangs.
It was 2 weeks ago when the Pima County Sheriff's Department served multiple search and arrest warrants. News 4 Tucson's Lupita Murillo has been following the story and has the latest on this case tonight.
7 search warrants were served in Pima and Yavapai County. In all, 8 people were arrested and charged with multiple felony counts. Court documents show this was a brawl between rival motorcycle gangs.
Yes, generally, members of motorcycle gangs are considered to be violent.
October 2021, deputies were called to this bar where multiple motorcycle gang members were at. Those named in the report, the Huns, the Pagans, the Sons of Odin, and Hell's Angels. 2 people were stabbed and taken to a local hospital. Both survived. After a 7-month investigation, law enforcement raided places in Tucson and Yavapai County. These 4 people were picked up in Tucson and charged with participating in a criminal street gang and to commit aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, dangerous instrument. These 2 were arrested in Yavapai County, 40-year-old Michael Kopke and 41-year-old Robert Crane. Their bonds totaled $125,000.
What happened last October was a very violent incident, and the Pima County Sheriff's Department takes these kinds of things very seriously. We put a lot of effort into solving this case, and here we are today with arrests.
Sheriff Chris Nano says this case would not have been as successful had it not been for their law enforcement partners, especially during these difficult times when agencies are short-staffed.
Everybody pitching in, recognizing that this is a violent threat, not just to the Pima County Sheriff's Department or its residents, but the entire valley, and in fact, in this case, the entire state.
Reporting from Midtown, Lupita Murillo, News for Tucson.
Welcome to the Window Depot, where we are more than a window.
You're going to steal my whole thing. It wouldn't even let me turn that off. Anyway, well, you guys see that, huh? Wow. So a biker brawl in a bar in Tucson, or not Tucson, but Pima County, whatever, wherever that place is. A biker brawl in a bar in an area turns out to be not only a threat to the region, not only a threat to the area, but in fact, a threat to the entire state. Holy moly, man. You biker gangs are something else. It's crazy. A threat to the entire population of the state. Did you see those charges they had on them folks, man? Those charges were crazy. Those charges were crazy. Let me see if I can find the charges again. That they were oh my goodness, I'm trying to find they were something like having oh my goodness, it was just terrible. I'm trying to read and find it. Charged with participating let me pull this up so you guys can see this. Charged in did I lose it again? Yeah, here we go. Charged in with participating in a criminal street gang and to commit aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, dangerous instrument. All with the extra aggravated assault of criminal street gang participation. Man, they ain't just a whistling Dixie with y'all. Over there. $125,000 bond. I mean, they arrested 2 guys with a total of $125,000 bond. To me, that's not like, I mean, 125 grand is a lot, but what? You only have to come up with like $1,500 or something if it's a bond or whatever. I don't know how it works, but hey, man, they're listen, man, listen. This stuff is real. How can a fight in a bar turn out to all these charges? We were just in the bar, knocking each other around a little bit. I don't know. We used to do this as kids, and we never got no charges, like nothing like that. Holy moly! Whew. Charged with participating in a criminal street gang to commit aggravated assault with deadly weapons and dangerous instruments. Man, y'all better catch on out here. Y'all better get it. Better understand. Somebody said motorcycle clubs, Rob Benjamin said motorcycle clubs need to quit acting like gangs. Certainly that's what they're saying. Good day, Brother Devil, Black Sabbath Motorcycle Club. Man, well, I tell you what, they ain't playing. They're throwing down big time with charges like that. Charges like that, they're trying to put you in jail for 10 or 15 years for having a fight in a bar. You might want to think about that. Somebody said, Todd J says, I'm ready to leave PEI, Canada, family, let's go, freedom and unity family worldwide. Well, we're going to bring this kind of stuff down in America if we keep it up. Sideways 23 said a kid runs down a mother and her baby with a car on purpose and gets a misdemeanor charge. Oh yeah, he's just a poor, youth, poor young man. Honor and respect, Greg Covington. So SSW says if someone gets in trouble and the papers and press grab it and it goes to trial, how do they select a non-biased jury? Man, if you think that they even care about a non-biased jury, they don't. They're in it to win it. So let's understand, folks. We got to come to an understanding. There ain't nothing that you're doing out there that ain't being videotaped. And I mean, I can't imagine these guys, they don't talk. So how do they find out all this stuff about them to arrest all these folks? Because these guys don't talk. These kinds of clubs don't talk. One's not going to say, oh, yeah, man, the such and such hit me. I mean, what happens is hey, I don't know. I slipped and I fell, bro. I cut, knife wound. Is that a knife wound? You don't say. I slipped and I fell. Nobody cut me with a knife. So you got to understand, man, they must be checking cell phone data, matching two cell phones together, looking at timestamps from license plate grabbers that are stuck all over the city. They put one and one together, man. They ain't even got to say nothing. You ain't even got to say nothing. They got enough data points out there to put your butt anywhere you are if you're running with all this technology. I say, hey, if you know you're getting ready to take care of some dirt or something, don't have your cell phone with you. Cover up your license plate when you're riding. And for God's sake, don't ever talk about it. Let it be, hey, something we never talk about. In our second story today, troubling interference with media at Uvalde. This story ain't going away. You know why it ain't going away? Because biker gangs are involved. Or maybe biker groups this time. They used the word biker groups this time. We can't allow ourselves to be used. So one day, police department needs to come down on us, and they do. The next time they need us as a friend, and we still get the black eye. Daredevil said, let me see. Devil says, maybe you need to have biker good news days. The funny thing about biker good news days, and I if you guys want, I will actually do what we call a split in the media world. I'll do a split where I'll do like 2 days of good biker news and one day of bad biker news. And let me tell you what you guys are going to watch, because I've done this before over and over again. Man, all I got to do is put down motorcycle club holding a polka run for a blind veteran who lost his service dog. And y'all ain't watching that, man. Y'all ain't watching that. It ain't getting no views. No views, no views. But if I do something, 2 motorcycle clubs throw down at the OK Corral, I'll get 100,000 views in 10 minutes. You know, we have a boss. The boss is you folks. You tell us what you want to see by your clicks, your likes, and your shares. So we get to the point we don't waste your time. We know what you want to read about, what you want to see. And you'll make me out to be the bad guy every time. You never have any good news. Yes, I do. When I post it, you don't watch it. So you can prove me wrong and watch the good biker news. I'm going to put some up there. I see about 5 or 10 people. Yeah, we want good biker. Okay. All right. You got it. If you don't watch it, I ain't doing it no more. Daredevil. My brother Devil says the same 100 people will tune in just to see you. We'll see. So anyway, some more bad biker news. This is the technology prep. What? Since when does? When do these guys talk about bikers? Troubling interference with media in Uvalde. Some public officials and private individuals in Uvalde, Texas, have been improperly preventing journalists from doing their jobs. And I'll tell you, everybody wants a fall guy, somebody to blame, right? Somebody's bad. Helps us get through the day to know that there's Satan out there. And that Satan isn't us, it's them. Makes us feel good. Makes us go to bed at night. And one of the biggest demons that we've come up with over the past several years is the media. They're can't be trusted, fake news, blah, blah, blah. Some part of that I'm sure is true. But like everything, like every rumor, a lot of it is just balderdash. Mopar Man says at the end of the day, if bikers get in a fight with other bikers, why does anyone give a shit? If no civilians were involved, as nothing was destroyed, why do they make it their concern? Let me stop the other story and tell you exactly why. Let me answer that question for you, Mopar Man. 345 Hemi. Oh, that's nice. Do Mopars have Hemis? I thought that was a Chevrolet engine. All right, what do I know? But anyway, the reason why is this. People are putting their children through college with the money that they make in law enforcement, and so there's got to be a bad guy. There's got to be fear that keeps that money going. The papers have to sell advertisement. They're putting kids through college. They're buying houses. They're retiring. They got to have a story to tell. You got to keep up this whole idea that there are Crips and Bloods on every corner trying to get somebody. The mafia is overtaking Las Vegas, and biker clubs are chewing up the Southwest. There was an article I saw not long ago that said biker clubs are you guys remember we did this story a few days ago last week. Biker clubs are 1%er clubs. Nations are growing. They're growing. They're recruiting people and they're taking over. And then in the same article, it says, well, it's really not the 1%ers, but it's their support clubs. Well, the caption was the 1%er clubs are taking over and they're growing and they're this and they're that. That was the caption. That's what they used to bring you guys into the story. They got to have these stories like this, man. So that's what they care. Because what did that guy say? You guys heard it. It was just on. What did he say? He said that a biker bar fight in a raggedy ass ugly bar in one little city, in one little town, in one little dusty corner, somewhere in Arizona, Pima County, was a danger not only to the city, not only to the region, but to the entire state. And they're going after those guys with all the resources humanly possible until they arrested 8 of them. And that's what's going on. You better damn well believe it. They care because it pays money to care. When you create a boogeyman, you continue to get paid to protect everybody from that boogeyman. Biker gangs are becoming increasingly the boogeyman. You don't hear about the street gang so much anymore, but you hear more and more and more about the so-called biker gangs. And we keep helping out with stories like this. Some public officials and private individuals in Uvalde, Texas, have been improperly preventing journalists from doing their jobs. We are continuing to see reports of concerning efforts in Uvalde, Texas, to interfere with media coverage of the aftermath of the school shooting there, with law enforcement and biker groups appearing to take steps to keep photojournalists from documenting funerals and officers threatening reporters with trespass on public streets as they try and ask questions of public officials, the story goes. So I never thought I'd see the term biker group tossed around next to police department. Biker groups and police departments are working in concerted efforts. Holy moly. But here it is. So the Reporters Committee Executive Director, Bruce Brown, addressed this issue in an op-ed that ran in both the Houston Chronicle and the San Antonio Express News last week. So, those kinds of coverages are seen by a lot of people. The Houston Chronicle and the San Antonio Express News. And they ain't talking about a good story when it comes to us. He said, though there's certainly an element of press safety at play here, this isn't about the press. And it really isn't about the press. He wrote, it's ultimately about the right of a community suffering unknowable loss to have information about what took place, about exactly what took place, how public officials and community members are responding, and what is being discussed to try to prevent this from happening again. That's what it's about. It's being made to be about reporters and this, that, and the other, but what it's really about is a community suffering unknowable loss to have information about what took place, how public officials and community members are responding, and what is being discussed to try to prevent this from happening again. Concern mounted the week before last after a Chronicle reporter posted a video showing that he was physically surrounded by members of a biker group who appear to be trying to prevent him from walking toward a cemetery gate. Why? What right do you have to get in front of anybody and stop them from doing anything? You haven't lost anybody. It's not your family. Who put a 10-star on your chest? Sit your ass down, says Black Dragon. I'm nobody. So the Chronicle and the Express News also reported that bikers from several groups physically obstructed cameras within designated media areas. So there is a designated media area that's been designated by somebody who is the designator, who designates to the designatees. And I can tell you that I've been on many I've been doing the news for many years, long before I even started doing biker news. One of the biggest things I ever covered was the Million Man March. I went to the Million Man March. I had my press credentials, and there was a designated press area where this is where you guys can be. You can't be nowhere else, but you can be here. And from here, you can turn on your cameras and stuff, and you can shoot right here. And they had it all set up, and CNN was there. And I learned all this stuff about how media works in terms of who's the big guy, who gets the best shots. Like CNN will at that time, CNN would be offered the best spots because they would share everything so that everybody else could get it. It was real cool how that works. But if there's a designated press area, why would you have your butt over in the designated press area trying to tell people what they can, trying to tell press folks what they can and can't do in the designated press area? Seems crazy to me why you would mess with the press that has the ability to make you look really bad in front of a lot of people. For instance, in front of the whole San Antonio Express and Houston Chronicle readership. But the Chronicle and the Express News reported that bikers from several groups physically obstructed cameras within the designated media areas, followed reporters, and harassed them as they walked closer toward the ceremonies. The same story reported that one member of the group, Guardians of the Children, who declined to give her name, said the group was working with the police. So now the police are deputizing biker groups. Good. I want a badge. I want my own damn 10-star right here so I can go out and do whatever the hell I want. Hey, I'm handing out tickets and collecting the fines on the spot. Hey, you see this 10-star? I'm working with the police. So you need to go ahead and pay your fine right now. And we'll talk about it. Oh, and you leave your phone number and address too. Anyway, I digress. So she said they were working with the police. The executive editor for the Express News, the closest daily newspaper to Uvalde, told CNN last week that law enforcement has been closing entire public streets around the funerals. She also said she'd been told that bikers were telling family members, now get this, bikers were telling family members who wanted to speak to reporters that, quote, you don't have to talk to them, just move along. So you get this big old brawly, tough, intimidating ass biker telling you that you can't talk to the press. That's tantamount. You don't have to talk to them, just move on. Well, I want to talk to them. I want to tell them my story. There are some people who want the press coverage. They want to talk about why the police did not move in for an hour and let their kids die. They want to talk about that. And they don't need you standing in the way telling them they can't or intimidating them. Like the whole thing is an intimidation factor for people who can be intimidated. I don't like it. Barney Fife deputized Floyd Gomer and Goober. Yeah. I don't like it. I don't like intimidation. I don't like people pushing people around. Well, I got my big biker. And then you get pissed off when people call you a gang. But you don't pass up any opportunity to act like one. Even pushing reporters around. Black Dragon, I would think you should know by now that the media's version of the story is at best incomplete and at worst biased and dishonest. Get the biker's word before. I don't have to get the damn biker's word. I saw the video. I saw the man walking down the street and the biker step in front of him, bump into him, and then threaten him. You didn't see that? Don't believe your lying eyes. I believe mine. This guy is a monster, and now he wants to report. At best, it's a lie. At worst, it's... Come on. Come on, man. A biker's not a cop and has no reason to be out here enforcing laws. And just because you want to. No, don't work like that. And now the press is somehow lying on you. They're not lying about the fact that your butt was out there. They ain't lying about that. They're not lying about the fact that you were intimidating folks and not letting folks talk. And they're not lying about the fact that you wouldn't let the press. We saw that. We saw the video. So where's the lie? Now they're I'm not saying there's not a slant on the coverage. But slant is not necessarily a lie. Sup with it, Harley House 76. You guys make sure to go stop by Harley House 76 on TikTok. Man's doing great things out there. Collects money for veterans. Did you know that? And gives them money and stuff. So all of his shirts and stuff that he sells, he takes that money and finds a way to give it back to a biker veteran of some kind. So his Talk Shit Spit Blood t-shirts are amazing. And then there's also Biker for Bikers. Bikers for Bikers is a hashtag that this guy created. And I just saw he was selling Bikers for Bikers t-shirts. And we know what he does with that money. So support that guy. Anyway, moving along. Picking up where we left off, bikers have been telling people who wanted to speak to reporters that you don't have to talk to them, just move along. Additionally, CBS News' Lilia Luciano reported that a woman who ran into the school to rescue her children, and we heard this story, she was on probation for a decade-old charges. She received a threat, a call from law enforcement, who threatened her with obstruction of justice if she spoke to the media, which then they said they were going to violate her and put her back in prison on some 10-year-old BS if she shared her story about how she had to run into the school and save her children. And that she was only brave enough to share her story after she shared this threat with the judge. And she said, and the judge said, she was brave and that her probation would actually be shortened. Now she finally got the opportunity to speak. She finally wanted to tell her story after being threatened by people that are embarrassed because they didn't do their jobs correctly. And they shouldn't be able to hide behind bikers. It's just crazy. They shouldn't be able to hide behind us, use us. They don't hide behind us when they got us pulled over and they're effing with us. So we're still gathering facts here, and legally the facts will matter. That said, as Brown wrote in his op-ed, if there is any coordination between law enforcement and the biker groups, that is unacceptable. I agree. It's completely unacceptable. Further, depending on the nature of any coordination, members of those groups could qualify as state actors. Now they're getting legal on your butt. If you can read tea leaves and look into the future, I would take note that there you can see here the plannings of their legal fight against that, which could have your butt in a courtroom or trying to fight getting your whole home taken, because a lot of motorcycle clubs are not set up as corporations, and you really can't deal with the financial implications of the actions that you're doing, because a lot of people don't sue bikers, but you can believe news agencies can and will. So check this out. Depending on the nature of any coordination between the police and biker groups, members of these groups could qualify as state actors, meaning that if they retaliate or harass journalists for their reporting, they could be exposed to legal liability. And so if they're not deputized correctly, then there's some question as to whether they are deputized correctly or not. They might not have the legal defenses like qualified immunity that's available to police. So police can't really be sued necessarily because they have qualified immunity. They're able to do their jobs without being sued. But if you're a motorcycle club dude, now the police can deputize people, but they got to do it the right way. And that's not the same thing as cops looking the other way while you're harassing people for them. That's not the same thing. And that doesn't give you the same qualified immunity defense. And here you are in your motorcycle club sued by an organization that has the money to sue you. And now you're looking crazy. And so they just said it right here in this article, what they're going to do to you. Keep it up. And if law enforcement or private individuals acting on the behest of law enforcement are trying to intimidate anyone who wants to speak to the press, then that law enforcement group, private individual, or biker group could be facing First Amendment implications as well. They're getting ready to get nasty with you bikers, since you want to get out there and get to pushing people around and acting tough. These folks, there's a place, they got a place for you. They can go after you for First Amendment implications. They can go after you for harassment, intimidation, all of these ugly things. Ultimately, though, what we're hearing out of Uvalde suggests a fundamental misunderstanding of the role of the news media in documenting an event like Robb Elementary School's shooting and its aftermath. She goes on to write, no journalist should ever invade the privacy of a suffering parent or relative, and this is not an assignment that any reporter would relish. And you guys got it out there like, reporters are like paparazzi running after these people, blah, blah, blah. But journalists are not particularly paparazzi. Nobody wants to go up to a grieving mom and, what do you think about your kid being killed? Like nobody, like who wants to do that? But all indications are that the news media has been respectful of these families while rightfully seeking to report, or she said, while rightly seeking to report on the response to the shooting by law enforcement and public officials. And if there were ever a public interest in something, it's allowing the families that want to tell their stories and share their grief with the nation to do so. So you guys can think about this what you want. Everybody's feelings are always involved, especially, in something like this. But you have to remember it's motorcycle clubs. But we can't be used by anybody. We can't be, we have to keep ourselves sovereign. And stay in your lane is always an important thing to do. That's not saying that if a family asked you for your protection, hey man, we don't want that. We don't want to talk about nobody. We don't want none of that. Could you guys please, hey, by all means, form a wall. You know, but this idea that we're working with the police as hey, well, I need a 10-star, and I need the proper paperwork such that you're not suing me and my club on some BS. Just keeping it real for you guys out there. Okay, so let me go up. We saw a lot of people talking. Black Dragon, you know those guys were lying. Yeah, Liberty Spike, Black Dragon, I think you should know by now the media's version of the story is at best incomplete and at worst biased and dishonest. Yeah, it's always easy to have a bad guy. These are just evil people that are just floating out in the world to do arm like little bots in the Matrix. You know, I think that some of these people are hardworking people that are trying to do a story, especially a story like this one. So that's how I feel about that. Let's see. I guess am I caught up with all of the, yeah, you guys are talking to each other here a lot. Okay, we're good. Somebody posted Harley House's link. Good deal. Thank you. All right. So that's my 2 cents for today. Just scrolling back through to make sure I got everybody's. Yeah. Okay. We did good with that. Thank you for that kind donation. Appreciate that. Okay. Good. That's everything. Going back up to the top. Okay. We're caught up. All right. So anyway, we'll be here tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Want to talk to you guys here. This is my commercial now. Make sure to get my books, President's Bible, Prospects Bible, Public Relations Officer's Bible, and the Sergeant at Arms Bible. These are my, this is my library for you thus far. We've got the next book coming out. It's being worked on right now, the Social Club Bible. You guys will be seeing that here pretty soon, in about a month or so. And we are now working on our audiobooks. Audiobooks are tough, man. Tough. But I can't do them till like 10 o'clock at night. I keep falling asleep, which makes me mad because my audiobook should have been done by now. But anyway, we're working on it. That's coming out. All my books will be on audio soon. And we're just having a fun time doing it for you. I'm looking for someone to translate my books. I need them Spanish, and I've already got a guy to do it in Portuguese, and I got a guy that's going to do it in Germany, so we're going to do that. And Squirrely said, I saw the video of that MC guy talking to the reporter. I got the impression the biker was puffing his chest about and strutting his stuff. He was. He had this little 4-foot tall reporter, 5'8" little guy, and he towered over him and he wanted to intimidate the shit out of him, and he did it. And the reporter just sucked him into it, had his camera and showing it the whole time. And he made it look bad. In my eyes, some of you guys were like, yeah. I'm a big guy, so I've never really had the need to intimidate people. With my bigness, it's a good way to get shot, especially, somewhere like here in Georgia where everybody carries. Go stepping up on some little guy if you want to. Derek Warrington says, I can say only for myself that on both sides of this situation, these people burying loved ones don't all want cameras near where they mourn. But I also agree that a non-law officer should be moving people, and or shouldn't be, or something like that. I think I understand what you're trying to say. No, that's the job of the police, and I absolutely, man. No reporter, No, not all the families want the reporters there. In fact, just being there as a reporter, families will come up to you to talk to you. You don't have to go track anybody down. There's a whole bunch of folks that want to tell these stories. They're sitting there looking at their child in the grave, and they realize that this might not have had to have happened if law enforcement had done what it's supposed to do. And everybody's got egg on their face in this one. Hey, you even the gun manufacturer didn't even show up to the NRA function. Like they got everybody's kind of tiptoeing on this. Nobody looks good on this. But the real criminal is that kid who's dead. That thug. That's the real criminal. Anyway. Take hold of your loved ones and hug them. Tell them you love them. Whether it's your little dog or your child or your grandparent or an OG in the motorcycle club. Because they can be swept away from you in a nanosecond. And it's very important that the last thing you said to them was, I love you. That right there is the truth of it all. My 2 cents. Love to hear your 2 cents in the comment section below. Listen, man. Please like this story. Hit the like button right now if you haven't done so before. Hit the like button, man. Hit that like button. Hit the like button, man. Hit that like button. Hit the like button. Share. And if you hadn't yet, subscribe. You know you want to. It's a good show. All right. My 2 cents. Love to hear your 2 cents in the comment section below. Thanks for tuning in. And get skinny. Okay, here. Let's check this out real quick. You know, I've been talking about my hero soap. I wanted to show you guys. Here's my empty bag of my hero soap. I actually use this stuff. I'm going to do a commercial with me in the shower. You guys will like that, won't you? Won't you guys like seeing me in the shower? I'm going to have a model with me. You know, some sort of maybe 2 or 3 models around me. I don't know if you guys remember the commercials that used to have Joe Namath in them. Great balls of comfort with Noxzema. You remember those commercials? Are you guys old enough for that? Where he had these models around and he's in the shower and he's got this Noxzema cream. Yeah, so I'm going to do me some, you guys want to see me naked, right? So anyway, this Hero Soap Company, I use this stuff. They sent it to me. I used it. And it's awesome stuff. And what I like about it, and you know, I'll just be kind of cool with this, is that it's manly. It smells good. They got all kinds of soaps. They've got lavender and all these kind of manly smells. Peppermint tea tree, peppermint cool, spearmint. The woods. They have body washes now, which is new for them. They didn't have the body washes when they first contacted me, but they got them now. What I like about these folks is that they give a percentage of their sales back to charities that are focused on helping veterans and first responders. So that's, they say, we want to thank you for helping us support our veterans. So if you, and first responders. So if you buy some of this soap, they're going to send, you can get a subscription. That's the other thing. You can get a soap subscription, like you can get a razor blade subscription. And if you buy their soap, a few things happen. One, they send, you get some soap to wash your ass. They get some money, that part of it they're going to give to veterans and first responders. And if you use the discount code Black Dragon, which is what we're hoping you use, they will give a percentage to us as well, which helps keeps the show supported. So good on them, good on you, good on us. And of course, you guys know I love these rings. My sister accused me of having demonic rings. How are you gonna accuse me? She told me she was terrified of my rings, and she said each ring was each ring was more demonic than the one that I would previously put on. Each one was more terrifying than the previous one. And I don't understand how she could say that about my rings. My rings are cool. You know, you got to use some cool rings if you're, these are my rings, man. So if you like rings, like I like rings, biker rings, you can go here to Gothic Rings, gthic.com. Just like with the soap company, if you use your discount code of Black Dragon, you get you a very cool discount, 20% in this case. I like the Medusa ring, man. They got some very cool rings here. They got Masonic rings, So use these folks. They got pewter and all kind of stuff, silver, actual silver in these rings, and they've got stainless steel rings. Man, their rings are the bomb. I like them. I wear them. So get you some, man. Get you some.